Now let's concentrate on the 45-degree mark. So we're going to find coordinates at this point at 45 degrees, or pi over 4. So again, whenever you go to plot that point, this point right up here, what we have to do is we trace ourselves out a right triangle. On that right triangle, the base gives us the x-coordinate, the height gives us the y-coordinate. What kind of right triangle is this? Well, it's a 45, 45, 90. What's the length of the hypotenuse? It's the radius of the circle again, which is just 1. If I want to find the side length, I have to divide 1 by the square root of 2 and then rationalize it. It turns out to be root 2 over 2, and so is the base. Okay, so the xy coordinates, again, this bottom down here is the x coordinate, and this is the y coordinate. The y coordinate. So my point is root 2 over 2, comma, root 2 over 2. So again, this is how we use it in trigonometry. If I want to find the cosine of 45 degrees, let me label my sides: hypotenuse, opposite, adjacent. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is root 2 over 2 over 1, which is just square root of 2 over 2. We can see that that is the same thing as the x-coordinate. Looks kind of like the y-coordinate, but from what we saw in the last video, it's the x-coordinate. Okay, for the sine, it's opposite over the hypotenuse, which is root 2 over 2 divided by 1, which is still root 2 over 2. Oh yeah, x-coordinate, y-coordinate. And then finally the tangent. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, which is the same thing as the y-coordinate divided by the x-coordinate. If I take root 2 over 2 and I divide it by root 2 over 2, anything divided by itself equals 1. So here is a summary of the unit circle and how you get to use it for trig. So for any point that is along the unit circle, remember the unit circle is the bold one on the outside, the one that has a radius of 1. Any point along that, any xy coordinate point, the cosine of your angle measurement is equal to the x value. The sine of our angle measurement is equal to the y value, and to get tangent of our angle, we divide y by x. Okay, so to finish off the unit circle, let's look at, let's say, 150 degrees. 150 degrees, remember that is this one right over here. Notice that this point is just a reflection of this point across the y-axis. So to complete the whole entire second quadrant, it's just a reflection of all of these points. So in order to complete it, let's say I have this point root 3 over 2. If I reflect it across the y-axis, the x value changes signs, it becomes negative, but the y value stays exactly the same. So it's negative root 3 over 2, comma 1/2. Alright, next point up, positive root 2, comma root 2. Again, when I reflect it across, x value will become negative, y value stays positive. The only one that we haven't talked about so far is, say, the 60 degrees. So let me just go ahead and trace out that triangle if I can find my cursor here. Right, straight down. Notice that this still makes a 30, 60, 90 right triangle. It's just that now the short side is along the x and the long side is along the y. It's the same coordinate as this, it's just flipped. So this becomes 1/2, comma, root 3 over 2. So now whenever you reflect it across the y-axis, this is negative 1/2, comma, root 3 over 2. The end.